Of the Empire. Republic won this morning. Alright, just a minute, we're going to start up a Q&A with the developers of Star Wars The Old Republic. So if you're here for that, please work your way in. We got plenty of space in between here. Come on in, you don't have to hang out on the aisles. Even if you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to stay or not. It's fine, just come on in, you can leave, we won't get insulted. I'll go ahead and step inside. There's still some seats over here. Maybe one over here. Maybe you can be really nice and sit in someone's lap. Ask first.
So before we get going, I'm going to preempt a couple of questions, which I'm sure you have. Number one, 1.2 is coming very soon, despite what some people may have said on a panel last night. Very soon is the only date we're going to give you, but it's going to come really, really soon now, and we will give you some amount of notification about it coming before it arrives, because we have to tell you when the maintenance happens. Number two, we had a few questions yesterday, just to preempt this one. Server transfer, the ability to do character transfer from one server to another, is something that's being worked on by the development team right now. It's a very high priority item for these guys, and they're working hard on it. We are doing character transfer for Asia Pacific players to allow them to transfer from US servers to Asia Pacific servers. That's going to happen right after 1.2 ships, and then after that happens, we'll be looking to character transfer for the general population. So don't ask those questions.
Or ask them and we'll laugh at you. Steven, you want to introduce people?
Sure. Up on stage, to my right, Emmanuel Lashinchi. Uzanki. I apologize. Who is French, therefore he's infinitely more sophisticated than all of us. What is your official title now, Emmanuel?
Technical design director.
There you go. He sits in the same office as James, so he knows everything that comes in and out of that man's head.
That room is filled with so much knowledge.
To my left, Damien Schubert. Damien is our lead system designer. He is the man for all your questions about legacy and crew skills, all that kind of good stuff. And to my far left, Cameron Winston. He nerfed your class. And he's not sorry. Cameron works on the combat team as one of our combat designers, so is responsible for balance and combat stuff and all that good stuff. And we might be graced by James Olin, I don't know. He tends to vanish when we turn around. So,
just the moment we need him most.
If he turns up, then we'll drag him up here too. Alright, let's get going.
So I'm going to wander the crowd. If anyone has a question, just catch my eye. Oh, look, I don't even have to walk anywhere.
So, are there plans?
What guild are you in? I'm sorry, I saw your shirt. What guild are you in?
Actually not in that guild anymore. But
Ooh.
he's taken. Whatever, I gave all of you a postcard last year.
Sorry. Go on.
So anyways, in the future, are there any plans to take like our origin worlds and give them like level 50 zones to come back to, rather than just expanding on new planets and stuff, give us stuff in old planets?
Yes. No, in general, we really like when players can see someone of much higher level as kind of an inspiration. We have a bit of that going on through some of your class stories, send you back, so you can, be the guy on the big speeder bike and look good. I'd be surprised if we have not a lot more of this going on. I mean, we are always looking for a little place to put new stuff, maybe some secret stuff and so on. So yes, probably.
We one giant guild here, don't we?
Alright, now that at this point Ilum has all been called dead, what is the immediate plan for Ilum and the world PvP as a whole?
We're going to hold a funeral service for Ilum. I think Emmanuel can handle this.
Thanks. Damien, do you want to handle this?
So, Ilum as it stands right now is obviously, you can tell it's being phased out. It's not a gameplay style that we don't want to do, it's just we want to make sure we can do it right. So what we're focusing on is solving some of the problems that plagued Ilum the first go. And when we felt that we solved these problems sufficiently to deliver an excellent experience, we're going to be releasing that to to you, but that's not going to be coming very soon. It's going to be coming the opposite very soon.
So the short form is, it turns out that MMO players are obsessed with fairness, and so what we're going to really try to do is whatever open worlds things, we're going to be sure that they aren't totally screwed up by faction imbalances on particular servers, for example. It's a tricky design problem, but it's one that I know Gabe really is passionate about.
I also want to clarify, because a bunch of people asked me this yesterday, is the planet Ilum itself going to be removed from the game?
No.
Thank you.
Just disincentivized for the PvP side for now.
Obviously, part of Star Wars' experience is being immersed in the character, the animations, and force lifting, force choking, force pushing as a Jedi Sith is very cool, but none of those actually affect bosses as you're being narrated. See the animation, you can't force push, you can't force lift, or you can't be doing anything in-game in the raiding experience to allow you to feel like a Jedi.
We try to work in those abilities to the fights whenever possible, but I mean, the problem is it's not just you force pushing the boss, it's you, and then your buddy, 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 and now it's on cooldown again. And the boss didn't actually get to do anything, so you can understand there's some scalability issues with control on raid bosses and obviously the operation bosses. So where we can, we love to get those control and those Jedi and Sith powers in there, certainly. I mean, I want you to be able to use as many abilities as possible in this kind of content, but the truth of the matter is that not every fight is going to be able to, you're going to be able to do that because, like I said, there's just a scaling problem where it gets out of control really quickly.
I was wondering with regards to space combat, it's really a single-player experience right now. There isn't even chat available in it. I was wondering what the plans are in the future for, the co-op, it's on rails right now, obviously, co-op on rails, and eventually expand into, instance PvP style, and then to TIE Fighters versus X-Wings. And I really noticed that, in the Galaxy map, there are sections that say Republic space, Imperial space, neutral space, that have nothing to do with any current gameplay. You can't see it into something in the future. I can think if you guys are planning on doing big space experiences.
We have big plans. That's all you're getting.
I think James has said we have a secret project for space.
We have big plans.
Hey fellas, I have a question about companions. You going to be adding more companions, secret companions, something a little different from the norm, or?
We have plans to add a companion here and there. The thing about companions is they're a lot of writing and a lot of work, because the thing that makes companions interesting in large part is not only your quest with them, but also how they react to the entire universe as they take you with them, and how they react to your story as you go through them. So, we don't want to just throw in easy, cheesy companions that don't have any dialogue, because then you might take that one out and leave the companion that's got lots of cool insights about the universe that you're exploring on your ship. That's lame too. So, we want to add more companions, but it's not trivial, and so I don't want to get your hopes too high up, but it is something that we talk about.
This being said, you do have already a companion that is not one, it doesn't have a story, which is your ship droid. And we are making efforts to actually make it more useful. So for example, you can get affection with him, meaning he's going to get better at crafting, because right now he's just the worst choice for crafting. So, among other things. So, we are still working on companions, and there will still be a few more surprises.
Hey guys, so I have a question about the combat logs. I know Bioware is not too good about the hardcore players and the more casual players, and combat logs usually scare away the hardcore players, or the casual players. But I was wondering how we're going to be able to utilize these combat logs in the utility 1.2 to increase our DPS.
So in 1.2, 1.2, the main focus is getting the information out to you guys, and like the goal of the combat log is going to be like more of an offline kind of thing. We're going to be recording the information that happens to you and that you generate, and then you're going to be able to take that data and you know, kind of look at it and evaluate your own performance. We don't currently have any implementation that allows you to share that information in game. We don't have DPS meters or anything like that. But the community has already come out with a bunch of really great tools for parsing this information, and as soon as, I'm sure once it goes live, you're just going to see better and better and better parsers and data out there. And our goal with this implementation of the combat log is to really empower you guys to kind of answer some of those questions you've been asking yourselves for a long time. You know, how much damage am I doing? Is it really better to do this ability or that ability? Is this spec actually outperforming that spec? And that's kind of what we want to give.
And most importantly, what killed me?
Yeah, what killed me will actually show up in your log now, like in the game. So you can do the, oh, I died from this or died from that. But yeah, it's really more of a tool for self-improvement and data mining and gathering for you guys, so you can start to understand the game you're playing better.
I can also say that I work specifically with all the fan sites for the Old Republic and a bunch of the external websites, and I've seen a number of projects already for combat log parsers, for things that give you more information about everything. Just by uploading your combat log, it'll print out all these cool graphs and stuff. I don't know if any of them want me revealing their secrets yet, so I won't tell you who they are yet, but I've seen a lot of them, and I'm sure they will pop up as soon as 1.2 hits.
With regards to the legacy system, you've implemented things that are going to give you things in your ship. Is there any indication or things down the road that you're going to be able to customize your ship, the look of it?
We have big plans. We have big plans is code for, it's on the wall of crazy. But you know, as you guys know, we have a river of features right now, and right now, my job as lead system designer is just to run herd on these systems of features and be sure that we're doing them in the order that is most important for the game. And what we do is we take feedback from the fans, from the boards, from things like the Guild Summit, from conversations that we're having here today, and constantly rearranging that list. And then, you know, it's on the list somewhere. So.
Hey guys, if you're just joining us, can you guys please move into the booth a little bit? We really don't want to block the aisle. The enforcers get angry, and when the enforcers get angry, I get sad. They're nice people. Thank you.
Okay, back to the combat log thing for just a second. Do you guys have any plans in the future to allow that to be parsed in the game by either UI mods later or implementations in there? Because you say like, well, it's nice to know what killed me, and it's nice to know like that attempt so that next time it doesn't.
Not for 1.2. Whether that'll happen in the future, I mean, I can't answer that question, but not for 1.2.
I'm kind of interested in the game, but I haven't been able to pick it up yet. Do you know if you have any plans to do some kind of promotion, like a release price or a month free or something like that?
So right now we have a this weekend. Right now, at this moment, we have a free weekend going on, and we'll probably have more of those free weekends in the future. Also, who here's playing the game? Ask any one of these guys to give you a buddy key, and that will give you 7 days for free, basically, where you can play the game. You can only go up to, I want to say it's level 15, and go up to the second planet inside the story. But it should give you enough of an idea of whether or not this is the game for you, which it is.
I actually had some questions about what kind of plans you have for the legacy system, and what kind of benefits you're going to have for people who already have it.
You totally should have been here at 1 o'clock. So we'll go into that more detail tomorrow at 1 o'clock, right? So if you want the long explanation, then you should come back then. The short form is that Legacy is coming in 1.2. It's one of the biggest, most ambitious features ever, and it's really designed to encourage you to replay the game and to also create a sense of unity between your characters. So you'll be able to shape the family tree that describes the relationship between all your characters, and as you do various things on each of these characters, you will unlock abilities, emotes, and other benefits that all of your characters can use. So for example, If you get to level 50 and finish your smuggler's story, then all of your characters will get the ability to use the dirty kick ability, which is pretty much to kick them in the giblets, right? If you get your warrior up, you'll be able to force choke those people. And yes, sometimes we're also going to relax the restrictions a little bit, so you'll be able to force choke, for example, some of the bosses that you can't choke with normal force choke right now in the game.
If you have in PvE,
in
like
PvE, we have limits on these abilities in order to prevent you from. We don't want you to feel like you have to max out everything, and so we limit these abilities. They can't be used in war zones, and they can't be used in operations, but they can be used pretty much everywhere else. You effectively need a companion with you to use these abilities. On top of that, we have various unlocks that you can purchase based on the legacy level at the bottom of your screen that will allow you to do things like reduce the cooldown of your fleet travel, reduce the cooldown of your quick teleport, get some really cool boosters in your boots to allow you to have a super sprint for a few seconds. And it's just going to get more. We're going to put lots of expansion in this. We're going to put more and more things in this as the game ages. One of the coolest things, and personally my favorite thing, is that as of 1.2, through the legacy system, any class race combination is effectively possible. So if you guys know the Sith, right? The red scaly evil guys. If you want to play that one Sith guy who is on the side of light, that will be possible if you play a Sith Inquisitor all the way to max, for example. You'll be able to start a Sith Jedi Counselor or a Sith Jedi Knight. And that's really cool and feels really unique. So I'm really excited about it, and I think the machines on the end over here have the legacy system unlocked on those characters, so you can play around on it if you get the chance. And I encourage you guys to do so, or to come back tomorrow at 1 o'clock to take a look.
Is there any future of adding like the last name as a friends list to get everyone on one name rather than adding each character individually?
We have talked about ideas in that general direction.
About the legacy things again, do you have to have your characters, do the legacy benefits also apply to characters that you haven't yet attached to the family tree?
Yes, pretty much everybody who is on the same server and the same account are considered to be part of the same legacy, whether or not you've joined them or not. The family tree is effectively a really pretty role-playing tool. I won't lie to you. It's really cool, but it's the impact of the family tree is not all that much.
Okay, so a lot of us that we adjustments to our gameplay to compensate for the resolve system right now, but do you have any plans to make adjustments to it and affect the reactions at all?
Could you be a little bit more specific? What do you mean, like, compensate for the resolve system?
Like, for example, in Puckball, we have to carefully learn how to control our stuns, like keep them in the fire or something and such. But, it's also got to a point where, even though having a completely full resolve bar, you still get, booted or like that.
So, I guess, please tell me if I'm not answering your question, because I want to, be clear. But we have two completely, off the resolve system effects, and that's immobilize effects and snare effects. And this is actually by design. So, the resolve system is designed as a visualized diminishing return system, right? So the idea is that you can actually see when people are able to be controlled, and that really is the design goal of it. But the resolve system is to minimize the amount of time you spend actually stunned and put to sleep and knocked back and knocked around. So it only provides immunity to knockback, sleep, stun, and control effects like that. The rooting or immobilize effects and the snare or slow effects that affect players are off the system intentionally, and that's because from a combat standpoint, we've designed these effects to be part of a kiting, anti-kiting game, which is completely separate from resolve. Some classes that don't have the, that need to establish range or establish close distance require these effects as part of their rotations in order to do their damage and be effective. So I guess really there is some confusion with some players where they have a hard time distinguishing between a root or immobilize effect that stops you from moving and a stun effect that stops you from acting. And to be clear, immobilize effects and snare effects and slow effects are not part of the Resolve system. The Resolve does not affect them. They're not stopped by Resolve, nor do they build Resolve, and this is by design. We are working on ways to improve the visualization of the Resolve system and make it more understandable to players going forward, but this is a core part of what makes the Resolve system work. Yeah.
And SOA are ridiculously hard fights, and not necessarily because of the challenging mechanics. For example, hard mode Bone Thrasher, you really can't dodge his attacks, and he will randomly crit and kill one person, and then you pretty much lose the fight. And for SOA, the whole lightning bolt thing, is this stuff working as intended? And if it's not, why isn't it getting fixed? Because it's really frustrating.
I thought it would be funny. Sorry. The bottom line is that not everything. We don't like bugs any more than you do. We're working very hard to get these fights as polished and bug-free as possible. And believe me when I say that it's something that is extremely. I'm very passionate about is getting bugs out of these encounters. And like anyone I work with will tell you, getting these fights to be fun, understandable, well telegraphed, and bug-free. Really bug-free is an absolute goal of mine, and it's something that you guys deserve. We're working very hard to give to you.
One of the things I want to take away is that the operations coming in 1-2, we want to be hard, but we want that operation to be hard for the right reasons. Like you're not doing the DPS enough, you're not doing the tactics enough. The operations that already exist. Should be the entry-level operations, and they should not be prone to that level of whim on the part of the system, and we're working to correct that. But I also want people to take away that the 1-2 operation is meant to be a worthy challenge for top-end guilds. So.
And look for a new open-world heroic encounter on boss that will hopefully challenge you as well.
What's going on about trying to bring some of the lesser used trade skills like arms tech and stuff up to parity with some of the more popular ones?
Why did you hand the mic to me? So the best way to answer that is to say that first off, the actual metrics of them are not as bad off as the boards would have you believe. And then the second thing is that we want them to be equally valuable and equally useful, but at the same time, it's not really our goal to say, hey, there are as many synth weavers in the world as there are, name another one, arms techs. What we really want is for the people who have their markets to be able to have interesting and competitive markets for those crafters who are playing that game. But we also want people to be able to build and pursue what they want to build. We're going to continue to work, and the 1.2 has a ton of crafting changes in order to try to bring all of them in line with each other, and that's going to be something that we pretty much do with every patch, is to try to be sure that these guys remain within band of where they are in terms of usefulness.
I also want to call out that on the website there's actually a developer blog we posted a couple weeks ago that goes into a lot of detail about every single crew skill and what changes are being made to 1.2, because there's been a lot of changes made to make sure that every single crew skill has a use at endgame.
Yeah, and if you look at the patch notes for crew skills in 1.2 are ridiculous. I mean, that team went to a lot of work to try to bring all the crew skills up to speed.
I played WoW endgame for a while, and one of the problems they had as they went through the tiers is that either people got left behind as things started stacking up, or then people were able to skip things too easily. So as SWTOR starts adding on operation tiers, how do you plan on dealing with either the gap or the possibility of people skipping content?
The itemization as a plan for that will become more and more clear as we start to get to the tier, especially past this patch 1.2. I mean, it's important to us that the people trying to assemble raid operations teams have a deep recruiting pool that they can pull from, that they have people that they don't feel like they have to go back and do content that they feel like they've already retired, that they don't want to do anymore in order to gear up new players. players. And so we definitely want to have systems in place that allow that. We actually are talking a lot about how crafting might be able to handle that problem of getting you caught up. So there will be more details on this, not this patch, but once we get closer to the next operation that we release.
I just want to remind everyone one more time, if you're coming and watching, can you please step into the booth? We still got plenty of space up here. I know it seems like there isn't any, but there's tons of space. Come on in, join the fun. We got to keep the aisle clear for everybody to walk through. Thank you.
So since at level 50 on a particular species, you unlock that race for other classes in the other faction. What happens if you're a human? Because humans are already available for every class of faction.
You get a presence buff. Presence buff makes all your companions better, so that's.
And I think Cyborg's also available on everything, but that gives you additional customization options.
The cyborg is cool because right now this isn't obvious, but there are a whole bunch of cyborg options that are class specific. So like the agent cyborg options are all designed, the thin, wiry, Mission Impossible looking stuff, where the warrior cyborg options are the evil mechy looking stuff. And once you actually get the cyborg to max, you'll be able to play any of those options with any class as well. So that's kind of a hidden bonus, but that's also really cool.
I have a question about performance. I have a lot of guild members who complain about low frames in certain war zones or grades and stuff like that. What are you guys doing to fix the problem?
We have a strike team whose entire job is devoted to making performance better, especially on low-end machines, adding more options in particular that allow you to turn various things down. So they've already done some significant work. I think that it made it to 1.15, and I would encourage your guildies to log into 1.2 and see if some of those options help them out.
Well, it seems to be like the higher end PCs where having the problem, not so much the lower ends.
Well, remember, that's going to be dependent on your settings, but I was actually talking to a couple of gentlemen in the crowd out here today that they said that, they were playing on PTS, and they said, hey, where's that server located? Because it plays really well. And remember, the PTS right now has a lot of client optimizations and server optimizations and gameplay optimizations that are going to make your gameplay experience a lot smoother. And so I definitely recommend you check it out and see if you have the same kind of problems, and obviously know that we're constantly working to improve them.
All right. Just in general, I mean, we want the game to run on lower and lower and lower end machines, because we know that for a lot of people, you want to get your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your kid playing as well. They're often playing on sec machines. They're often playing on hand-me-down machines. Actually getting the game to run overall on lower spec machines is a huge priority for us.
We are also adding option for the good machine though. So you will be able to see much better texture on your characters top 1.2, I believe.
Alright, now I realize the answer to my question may be learn to play. But where do hard mode flashpoints fit into progression for players as they hit 50? Are you expecting players to have full Ricotta gear to take on this content, or is Chinese only fun? I've been having a very hard time with any group we've ever done brought to Teslas getting past ISIS the first boss. So clearly I think we're doing something wrong.
So the current implementation of flashpoints hard mode, we expect you to be in like normal, like greens and blues kind of stuff. I mean, but obviously if you're struggling, you can try to improve your gear a little bit through either crafting or the story mode flashpoints, which will get you, if you're in a full blue set, or world drop purples, world drop blues, and then you start doing them, you're going to have an easier time. But no, we don't expect you to be in like doing Ricotta gear or anything like that to do these. It's just the hard modes are definitely meant to be harder, and as a result, they drop some more significant rewards. And going forward, that curve is obviously going to change with every expansion. But I'm just talking about right now, like in the game we have.
There's going to be a chance that it will come to Max. Apples.
What about apples? Mac computers. Mac support.
Not at this time.
Plans to add more character slots?
We are talking about it. I mean, it's become more and more vital with the legacy system, and so it's something that we're talking about. I have no ETA for you at this time.
a quick question about the amount of servers. We have quite a few servers, and when I first joined into the one I'm in right now, it was, I think, heavy, and then it's slimmed down since then, and I see some servers are light, some servers are medium. Will there ever be server mergers in the future? And the second part to that question is, will there ever be the ability to transfer characters between servers?
I'm going to guess you came in late, which is fine. I mentioned at the top that, yeah, character transfer has been worked on right now. It's a high priority for the development team. And we'd be doing character transfer before we do any other thing that shall not be named. But yeah, character transfers would be the first priority for us to get that working, to allow people to move to other servers to join their friends or to go onto a server that they think has a better population.
I think we're at time for one more question. Yeah? All right.
Will there be any other races to unlock via Legacy, such as Voss or things like that?
Not this time.
Well, there's always the chance.
Well, we plan to add to the Legacy system and heavily as we go in the future. We think it's a great place to reward people for their devotion to the game and their hard play. So I'll never say never. But that being said, in particular, adding a class, a species is not a trivial amount of work, right? I know you see a lot of Voss in there, but we only have to represent a handful of Voss NPCs right now. Actually representing the full gamut of character creation options that you would want to see to do something like the Voss is not insignificant. So, I won't say never, but I will say it's not something we can just throw in.
I want to give a big hand to all the developers here today. Thank you guys so much for the Q&A.